Sober Sophistication, the podcast. Sober Sophistication, living in a new way. It's alcohol free, where sober meets classy. Live your best life and sip with us. Sophistication is a must. We're winning in a new way, where sober meets classy. Sober Sophistication. Sober Sophistication.
Peace, family. All right, so I know you are completely caught off guard by where we are. So before we get into all that, so my name is Anthony, one half of the duo that makes up Magnolia Crescent Orchards and Non-Alcoholic Winery. The other half is, of course, my business partner and my wife, Karima. Karima is off being further developed in terms of her entrepreneurial repertoire. She's going to talk about this later on, but she was invited to participate in what I think is going to be a very profound cohort, if you will, where she, along with other female entrepreneurs, are going to be involved in an intensive several week-long series of courses. And so I actually attended. They had the first week the kickoff was last weekend. And of course, we were not here. We do Sober Sophistication, a podcast bi-weekly. And so we had the week off. And so we didn't miss the show because we weren't on the air. But in any event, so she's doing that today. So look, the show must go on. So even though my better half is not here, I'm like running a one-legged race, still here. And so we're going to get this show on the road. So is this your first time joining us? Sober Sophistication, the podcast, is where we discuss all things love, lifestyles, and non-alcoholic wines. And again, my name is Anthony. And so let's get this show on the road. So if you've already seen the promotions, what we're going to be discussing is many of you, if you are, I don't know, whatever your station is in life, you may be familiar with the whiskey brand Uncle Nearest. Actually came to our attention as we kind of started this business, even though we don't participate in the consumption nor the distribution of spirits and anything that has alcohol in it. We are students of the craft, right? So it is to our benefit as a business that even though we do not participate in the distribution of wine that has alcohol in it, non-alcoholic wine falls under the umbrella of the larger, I would say, wine industry, or if you want to expand it, it maybe include wine and spirit and other alcoholic beverages. So non-alcoholic wine, which is what we are in the business of, it falls under that umbrella. So I'm saying that to say it is important for us to study the business, study the trends, and just learn from people who are doing well at it and learn how we can adapt or adopt some of their practices to what it is that we're striving to do. So to that end, I'm on LinkedIn. Many of you all who are tuned in, I'm sure you all have LinkedIn accounts. There is a woman named Fawn Weaver. She is the CEO of Uncle Nearest, which is a Black-owned whiskey company. And I have been hearing about it, but if Miss Weaver walked past me down the street, I would not have known who she was. So there was on LinkedIn, on the LinkedIn timeline, there was news that came out. Forbes magazine, in fact, had done a feature about her, at least in their on their YouTube channel. And so again, being a student, I looked at it and I was blown away. Ladies and gentlemen, this woman is phenomenal. Her story from a child up to what she's doing now is nothing short of remarkable. I mean, to say that this woman is brilliant is an understatement. To say that she is astute in business is an understatement. I was so inspired by what I witnessed. I told Karima, like, we have to talk about this, not so much the company, but just talk about what it is that we took from the video. So I actually watched a couple of videos. I started watching the third one earlier on today with the woman who is the blender of the Uncle Nearest whiskey. And just phenomenal. Another Black woman. And so let me take a step back. This actually, Kareem and I all this week pretty much have been really involving ourselves in just a lot of study in terms of the wine industry, familiarizing ourselves with certain publications where we can kind of pick up on what's going on in the business, being able to identify trends, kind of see around the corner, if you will, just really putting on the expertise of this industry. Earlier in our journey, we have shared before, we got certified in what's called the Wine and Spirit Education Trust, or WSET for short. Shout out to Krishan Lampley from Love Corkscrew. She gave us 90 minutes of her time. She was so gracious. She actually corrected us. Prior to her, we were calling the W set. She said, no, the proper pronunciation is WSET. And again, that stands for the Wine and Spirits Education Trust. So we actually took a class, Karima and I, in Nashville, Tennessee. We got up on a Saturday or Sunday. Could have been a weekday, I don't remember. But we drove 4 hours from Atlanta to Nashville, Tennessee, where we sat in this room with this gentleman. We were the only two people. We took the class, and then we took an exam. And we passed it. So we are WSET Level 1 certified. I say that to emphasize that in any industry, you are, peace to Brother Mark D. Let's go, family. Brother Mark D, that's my brother from Chicago who lives here in Atlanta. He has just started into the business of raising chickens for meat as well as for the eggs. So in any industry that you choose to get in, whatever your business is, peace, big brother Dave, there's a certain level of education that you have to involve yourself in, okay? And so realizing that we were going this way, and there is not yet, maybe Magnolia Crest will be the one that will take the point of this, but there's not yet some type of certifying body that focuses strictly on non-alcoholic wine. So in terms of getting our information, our weight up in terms of information and just understanding the industry, we have to go the traditional route, organizations that speak about wine in traditional sense with alcohol. So this week, I mean, Karima and I, we've just been doing a lot of information, start taking in a lot of information, learning more about the process of de-alcoholizing non-alcoholic wine to make it non-alcoholic, and just really starting to get more granular and really develop ourselves into subject matter experts. Of course, we want to continue to provide non-alcoholic wine the way we do now, which of course is that we curate and work with our import partner to bring in the best non-alcoholic wine that we have found, which is from overseas countries like France, Spain, Italy, and then with our sparkling tea in Denmark. So we're going to continue to curate these and provide it on our website. If we're doing a pop-up or when we're doing events. But we are also intent on developing our own. So this is why the Uncle Nearest story was so intriguing to me, is because here is a brand that is Black owned. I mean, from the production of it, the land that the whiskey is processed on, and I don't know everything, so I'm not going to make statements that I have not necessarily verified. But suffice it to say, it's an operation. It's successful. They just got started. Let me share something with you all, because I wanted to share some notes with you all. So Uncle Nearest started in 2017. The story is, and I'll give you the short version of it. You all are familiar with Jack Daniel, the company. If you are familiar with it, even if you have not ever had a taste of it, which I did, and I almost died. Like when I did drink alcohol, I had the misfortune of consuming some Jack Daniel, and I will never do it again. That stuff was horrible, and it really took it took a toll on me in a not so good way. But so the point is, Jack Daniel is, I think the term that Sister Fawn used was ubiquitous. It's almost omnipresent. Any place you go where they're selling alcohol, whether you go into a restaurant that has a bar, or if you just so happen to be walking down the alcohol aisle in your grocery store, or if you go to a I don't know, definitely if you walk into a liquor store, that square bottle you're going to see, I don't know what it is. So the story goes that Jack Daniel, the man who the company is named after, he was actually, in so many ways, tutored, coached in the business by a Black man named Nearest Green, who was older than young Jack Daniel. When Nearest Green was doing this thing, Jack Daniel was a boy. And so, in the way that Sister Fawn Weaver talked about it, him being referred to as Uncle Nearest was not out of what we as Black people here in America, when you hear about white people referring to us with the term auntie and uncle, it's not a compliment. It's not a term of endearment. But according to Sister Fawn, in this context, it is a term of endearment. So basically, the man who taught Jack Daniel what he knows and knew, he was known as the top whiskey distiller in the state of Tennessee at that time. None other of the other distilleries that, I forget, she said there were like 6 within like a short radius of one another. And Mr. Green's distillery was number 1. So basically, he was the best out. He's the GOAT of whiskey distillation, whatever that process is. Nearest Green is the GOAT. Not only is that because of what Fawn Weaver said, but other people in the industry, and I'm sure Jack Daniels himself, if he has something written down, his family, according to Fawn Weaver, has gone on record to say yes, absolutely. They didn't say GOAT, obviously, but basically they let me know, yes, this is the man who taught Jack everything that he knows. So, with that knowledge, Sister Fawn went about the process of acquiring some land at the distillery that was back in, we're talking about late 19th century. We're talking like 18, I think on the bottle Jack Daniels has a date of like the year of 1856, something like that. But this is how long ago we're talking about, what this Black man was producing this. So that piece of property, that where that building was, where this where this whiskey was being developed, Farm Weaver bought that building and all the surrounding land, and it's over 300, I think like 317 acres. So she has created it. Not only is it where her business, that particular business runs and operates, but it's also an event space. People come in, they do tours, the whole nine. And so, I mean, I'm going to recommend, and I don't know how Kareem will feel about this, but I recommend go to YouTube and just do a search of Forbes, because this was the piece that I first watched was Forbes, and look up Fawn Weaver, Fawn Weaver, WAVR. Watch the video, and I guarantee you will be inspired. So now here's another thing. Again, this company was started in 2017. This is 2024. So we're like 7 years away. I don't even know what month we started in. But let me read something. This was shown at the end of the presentation. It says, since it launched in 2017, Uncle Nearest is the fastest growing whiskey in U.S. history. Did y'all hear what I just said? It's the fastest growing whiskey in U.S. history and the best-selling Black founded and led spirit of all time. Today, Uncle Nearest's annual revenue is estimated at $80 million and is on track to reach $100 million this year. Forbes conservatively estimates the business is worth $1.1 billion. Conservatively. So conservatively, this company is worth $1.1 billion. Absolutely phenomenal. And the fact that they make, and Forbes highlighted that this is the fastest growing whiskey in U.S. history, that's because Sister Fawn stated that like businesses that get into this industry fail in the 90th percentile. You hear what I said? If you get into the spirit business, there is a 90% chance that your business is going to fail. Now, who does that? Like, I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself risk averse. Maybe I am. But if somebody tell me, look, you get into this business, there's a 90% chance you're going to fail. I may be very hesitant. I'm not going to be front. But when you listen to Fawn Weaver, that's not her makeup at all. She did not let so-called good advice from people who may have tried to present themselves as meaning well to deter her from her path. She almost reminds me of Cat Williams, only in the sense that as a child she left home. If you watch the Cat Williams interview on Club Shay Shay, you hear him talk about how he left his house at the age of 13. Well, Fawn Weaver left her house at the age of 15. So I'm not advocating that you put your children out in their early teenage years. Hopefully, you know what I mean, they make something of themselves. That's probably not a rule. It's more like an exception. But this woman is remarkable. But now I wanted to, because one thing she mentioned in this interview, this story that Forbes magazine did about her, she brought up a few what are called spirit conglomerates. These are companies that own several companies. So she brought up, and these are, keep in mind these names because it's going to go into the next phase of our talk today, right? She brought up companies such as, a second, conglomerates, if you will. Diageo. Diageo. Does that sound familiar? Come on now. If you are I'm 48 years old. I'm a lover of hip hop. Diageo has been in the news because of somebody who's really having a rough moment in media right now. I'll get back to it later. So, Diageo, Brown Forman, Bacardi, or Bacardi Limited, LVMH. Sister Fawn was saying that these companies, and there are others, they control 90%. Well, she mentioned those four in particular as owning 90% of the spirits that you see out in the marketplace. Think about that. 90%. Okay. So, going back to Diageo, let's go back around. The reason why I brought them up and what caught my attention is because Diageo is the company that one Sean Combs had a legal dispute with. Okay, so many of you are familiar with, if you know anything about Sean Combs, you are familiar with the brands that formerly represented spirit brands, one of which was Ciroc vodka. All right, so now I want to read to you an article that was written about this dispute, this legal dispute, in Variety magazine. This is from January 16th of this year, earlier this year. The title of the article says Sean Diddy Combs and Diageo resolve legal dispute. I'm not going to read the entire thing, obviously, but I want to read a few paragraphs. Sean Diddy Combs and Diageo have, quote, resolved all disputes, unquote. Both parties announced Tuesday morning, apparently ending long and complicated legal battle wherein Combs alleged the liquor giant had not supported marketing agreements involving Ciroc vodka and De Leon tequila. The parties announced the resolution in a brief statement severing their business ties. Okay. Another quote that says, Diageo and Mr. Combs have no ongoing business relationship, either with respect to Ciroc vodka or De Leon tequila, which Diageo now solely owns. Think about that. You wouldn't even know Ciroc were or not fit. Okay? Now, according to the settlement, Diageo now solely owns that brand. All right? Now, here's the last part, and then I'm going to go to another story. Combs from Diageo in May of 2023, just like 1 year ago, in New York Supreme Court in Manhattan, alleging that the company, also Jack Walker and Captain Morgan, among other liquor brands, had neglected the spirits under their joint control. In his lawsuit, Combs alleged that Diageo had not given Ciroc and De Leon the same kind of marketing and promotion it had given other properties in its portfolio. He also alleged Diageo had undermined the business by marketing Ciroc and De Leon as, quote, urban, unquote, rather than marketing for the general market, rather than something for the general market part. I remember Brother Sean did an interview live. I don't know if any of you all watched the Earn Your Leisure podcast, which was actually had an agreement under the Revoked Media Company, which Mr. Combs used to be the chairman of. He had to step down to be the chairman. So, sorry y'all, I'm still here before coming outside and stuff like that. So, During this interview, this was at the Earn Your Leisure event called Festival. I was down here in Atlanta last year. Diddy was on stage being interviewed by the hosts, Rashad, Bilal, and Troy. And he was going into some of the aspects of what his grievance was with Diageo. And I even mentioned something about they were supposed to be growing some agave, which is what tequila is from, the agave plant. And I learned that during the trip actually some years ago. They had dedicated some agave, but they weren't really doing anything with it. They said they were lying to him. And he had to fly on site to the location in Mexico and found out that they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing as being business partners. So there's that, and unless you've been living under a rock, I'm very familiar with Brother Sean's his video coming out about him with him physically assaulting Cassie, his ex-girlfriend, and of course there are other allegations that have surfaced in the media following the video coming out. And there are plenty of people who may be considered as conspiracy theorists. Dr. Umar Johnson is one whose video has gained a lot of views circulating. He speculates, he theorizes that these problems that Diddy is having did not begin until after he started this lawsuit. I'll let you all be the judge on that one. But yeah, okay. Another well-known celebrity who's having issues with one of these conglomerates, this is the farm we were talking about, is 50 Cent. Now, going to another article that I wanted to share with you all today. Bear with me. So, now this is an article that I found on a website called, bear with me, thedrinksbusiness.com. That's the name of the website. And this article was dated March 26th of this year. The title says 50 Cent files a $6 million case against Team Suntory. DAM, that's the first word, Suntory, Suntory. Now, I follow 50 Cent on Instagram, so he has not been quiet at all about his grievance. He may not have gone into full detail about the issue, other than to generalize them not being good business partners. But so he's definitely been vocal about it on social media. So, and well, no, I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna go to what I was going to say. So, just months after, this is how the article starts. Just months after Diageo settled out of court and acrimonious battle with rapper Sean Diddy Combs, another of the global drinks giants is being sued by music artist and drink entrepreneur. All right, so it says rapper and media celebrity Curtis Jackson, otherwise known as 50 Cent, filed a $6 million embezzlement case against Team Suntory. It alleges that the owner of Jim Beam and Maker's Mark Bourbons was complicit in overcharging his Sire Spirits business for several years. This, he alleges, left him with large losses. Sire Spirits' leading brands are Branson Cognac and Le Chemin. I'm gonna mess this up, but I'm gonna try. Le Chemin du Roi Champagne. It charges that excessive prices were integrated into product prices and that 50 Cent's business overpaid on various expenses, taxes, customs, and insurance totaling around $6 million. Claims that Julius Grant, Dean's former chief commercial officer, left the company in 2019, received an annual payment of $500,000 from Beam Suntory and played a pivotal role in running the scheme that also involved club promoter Lord Michael Caruso. 50 believes there was a deliberate attempt to sabotage Side Spirits because its collapse would have concealed the alleged embezzlement scheme. 50 goes on to say, and this is a quote from this Instagram, Being Suntory is going to pay for what they didn't trust. These big companies think they can get away with it. It has cost me billions in legal fees. They are going to find out I'm not the one you want to pay with. And I believe, brother. Oh, hey, Karima is chiming in. Hey, salam, my love. So, Karima and I were having a conversation earlier. If you follow 50 Cent or with his career as a rapper, and even what he had been involved with during his time in the streets, Queens, New York, Southside Jamaica, Point, 50 ain't no punk. And from what I'm familiar with, him getting into big altercations with some huge drug kingpins, it nearly cost him his life. That's how he ended up getting shot 9 times because he got into it with a big drug deal. But that's because he ain't no punk. And he doesn't take too kindly, obviously, to people who want to try to mistreat him and take advantage of him. So I was telling my wife this play out very interesting. Because in my opinion, too many of us as Black entrepreneurs who end up in messed up arrangements, they go doing business, we get handled or mishandled, we kind of be quiet. My thought is let it be known from the mountaintop so that people can be put on blast that these people are not doing honorable business. You know, why should you be the only one suffering? So that's my take on it. But so I brought up those 2 points again to go back to the interview with Susan. Now she is developing her company. That would be interesting if the Diddy's of the world or the 50 Cents of the world or a lot of these other rappers, Jay-Z had an issue with LVMH over his Ace of Spades champagne. And I don't know, I can't remember. I think he has a cognac called Douces. Well, I think they are the ones who own that. They had some kind of partnership arrangement or whatever, and apparently wasn't as fair, I guess, as Brother Jay-Z, Sean Carter thinks that it was supposed to have been. So it's like now you have the sister making strides. I mean, she's not no slouch. One interview I was listening to, she gave a scenario of kind of how she got started. And she was at an event where she said she literally in the room of 1,000 white men. She said the only women that were there were the women who were working even probably didn't work whatnot. They worked for her. But she said later on that same group was more diverse. She, I think, accurately correctly attributes that to what she as a business has been able to do in that industry. And I'm looking at it makes me wonder, like, why should we continue to get these relationships? Yeah, okay, these are the big boys. They own a huge share of the market. And if you're going to get to the wine and spirits industry, you will probably have to deal with them on a certain level, whether it's they produce what you product or they're going to be distributing for you. So we're taught business is warfare. But I'm just so happy for people who want to get into that business, like Chris. As I stated earlier, we're not trying to get into providing alcoholic beverages. That's not what we have decided. That's not as we said before. We feel that we are mission. That was not always it when we got started. You heard us talk about things before. We were just trying to provide non-alcoholic wine because we have several people we are friends with who don't drink alcohol either. And at a minimum, we was like, look, we could be a source of delicious non-alcoholic wine you can get at www.magneticpress.farm. We could just be, somebody that our friends and family and other people come to us and provide quality non-alcoholic wine for them. But us until we had experience where we were invited to participate along with Sister April in Birmingham, Alabama, City. That's what they call. Birmingham has the moniker. That's not going to get it right. But we were invited to participate in her case, which is where she was. By her being a chef, in this class she was teaching people how to decorate cakes, and it's like a fun event. There were a couple of days together, and we were the sip of the cakes. And so we would do a presentation. We would go through some of the benefits of wine, the polyphenols, the lowering of bad cholesterol, regulation of your blood sugar, and so forth and so on. And it also takes it, right? And so at our first event, there was a young lady that very emotional, shocked the heck out of me. And I'm sure Brenda would attest to the same thing. But just this, I guess, a sense of that there was an option that people like her who didn't, I don't know if she said she didn't like alcohol or she just maybe didn't want to be conscious. Brenda would know that better than I would. But just that there's an alternative. That she didn't feel like she had to be constantly learned by the person around who drink alcohol. But so it was after that, and then going into dry January, which would have been either, I guess, 2021 maybe. We started to see not a lot of us who look like being represented in this marketing promotional campaign for dry January. And so that's when we kind of shifted from just being solely about trying to offer our business to make money, but now to take on a sense of a mission, become a mission. And so I was the other interview, not the one with Ford, but the other interview that I saw with Fawn Weaver. One thing about her, she's very, I would say, vocal and explicit about not making herself the center of attention. She says, I'm not doing this in so many words for my name, my legacy, the nearest green legacy, which I respect. And so this other interview, it's called Talk of the Town. It was a Fox News affiliate in San Francisco. She was interviewed by Black women. Another great interview. Asking her, where she saw herself like in the next years or something like that. Or, does she think about where she sees herself in the next 10 years? She's like, no. I think about where I see myself in the next 200 years. That's what came out of this woman's mouth. And it just brought everything back home to what it is we're striving to do. Get back to the present. And following us that got started was just a, getting some non-alcoholic wine sampling, sharing it with our friends, and them saying, "Hey, we would like to try something too. We'll buy from you." Then that was the business got started. Then it went into us actually acquiring land for purposes at that time. One was so that we can start developing our food orchard. Hence the name Magnolia Crest Orchards and Non-Alcoholic Wine. That's the full name of the business. But then also we wanted to create an event space where people can come out and enjoy, like going to any vineyard or any winery. They can enjoy being in an environment. The natural scenery is beautiful, it's outdoors, it's peaceful, but it's all non-alcoholic wine. That was our vision. So in that initial phase, we're actually transitioning out of that phase. Still holding on to the same mission, still on the same goal of not only growing our non-alcoholic wine business, but now want to shift into production. And then also creating a space where people come. Because the desire is there, the interest is there. However, we're transitioning. So we are actually shutting down current property and looking to reestablish ourselves in another location in the future. We'll let you know. Because we get, believe it or not, we get a lot of inquiries that get sent to our account through our website. People wanting to have events at our property, but right now we just cannot accommodate. So if you are one of those people, we apologize, but we hope to be able to accommodate you in the near future. But after watching this video, like her, we have to start thinking down the road. Now we will have she was dropping some gems on y'all today. Man, I wish I could tell y'all. But I'm so grateful to God that He has blessed me to marry this wonderful, beautiful woman. Because her mind is never fixated on here and now. That makes sense. You hear a lot of people saying, live in the moment. And that's true. That has value. But or be present or have it. And as good as that is, I don't think whoever put that message out there was intended for us to just wallow. Maybe wallow is not a positive word. But just to remain there. You know what I mean? Just bogged down in that's present. Rima, to her credit, is always thinking. And at first, I'm gonna share something with you. This podcast is about love, lifestyles, and non-alcoholic wine, right? So I'll let you in on some aspects about my relationship. Because my wife is such a poor thinker, it has been, and I say it has in that language because it's gotten easier, but it still is a little bit challenging because she's always in her thinking she's down the road. Like, this is cool where we got now, but we got to be thinking about what's going on. And I'm like, I wasn't necessarily raised like that. Didn't necessarily have that kind of, I would say, nobody really kind of screwed me in that way. And so I used to be like, man, here is pretty good. Can we just chill? You know what I mean? Just for a few minutes. And yeah, just for a few seconds, really. But now we got to be thinking about what's next. So, as I said earlier, being aware of where it's going. When you're talking about how what the implications are of things like AI getting involved into this industry. We're just starting. It's important for us to think about how these things are going to impact the industry that we're in. One thing Fawn Weaver said, and I know Karima said such verbatim. When we get into anything, and I'm saying this to you as like I'm saying it to myself, when you all get involved in anything, don't do it if you're not going to do it to the best. And so, and I'm not just talking about with your physical labor, right? I could be the best at making mocktails, or I could be the best at doing a pop-up, running it. And that has part in the overall scheme of things, right? But I'm saying, in order for us to be the best, we have to just absorb a lot of information. We got to be on the cutting edge. We have to know what's going on, and then hopefully, by God's grace and mercy, we get the opportunity to see down the road a little bit, to see around corners, so we can get ahead. The beautiful thing about what this industry is in terms of non-alcoholic wine or non-alcoholic beverages, if you want to look at for a larger scope, a lot of it is still unfolding. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's continuing to grow according to what our research is telling us. So we know we are in the right place and at the right time. And to be honest, the fact that it's not a lot of people like us do this, it's a plus. It's not a thing that people look on as being a bad thing. You know what I mean? Because we can look at it like that. It's like I was saying earlier. We didn't see us being represented in marketing and promotion for Dry January. We could have been like, man, that sucks, or that's racist, or whatever the case may be. What our mindset was, we'll take it upon our shoulders to be the ones who bring this information to our people, this demographic, Black people in America, and probably nationally, because of what people have seen, that we as Black people, Latino people, Native American here in this country suffer disproportionately the negative aspects of alcohol consumption. So I'm seeing all kind of opportunities for us. Is it gonna be hard? Oh, yes. Is it gonna be a heavy lift? Absolutely. We just getting started. I'm telling you, my wife's kind of person. At home, she's printing off stuff. The print is going, and she's got like articles that's like 8-10 pages. She's like, it's really a study. And I realized that in order for us to stay ahead of the curve, we have to be willing to invest the time. And again, I'm saying this for us, but I'm saying it to you all out there who are watching. Whatever it is that you're doing, I know I'm familiar with what Brother Mike D does, is striving to do, by God's grace and mercy, with the chickens. Get ahead of the curve, Brother Mark. Learn from the people who've been doing it. Take it a notch up. Big Dave, man of many talents. Whatever it is that you are focusing on, and do it to the best of your ability, man. Learn from those who are probably the subject matter experts in that field. Stand on their shoulders, but man, innovate. Do things that maybe they're not thinking about. Put yourself in the pole position. I'm just excited, y'all. Watching this interview, really, really sparked something, really put, as we say, a battery in my back. And I just wanted to come on down here and share it with y'all. When I knew Karima wasn't going to be able to join the show, she was like, what are we going to talk about? And I was like, man, let's talk about this. And full disclosure, we were going to do it where we were going to have our older children involved so they can share with what it is that they do. And I wanted them to actually watch those videos. I'm still share with them. Maybe at a later show, I'll have them come on and get their, today's perspective about what it is that they took from videos. But so that was the plan. But I had to bring this here, yada yada yada. So that's why I'm doing this from the backseat of our. See the hair, look, I ain't trying to hide it, man. You gotta make it happen. But that's what I'll leave you all with, man. Watch those videos. Go to like I said, go to YouTube, look up Forbes on Week, and then also watch the video that she did, the interview she did of talking to Time Championship. Watch those. Do some research into these lawsuits. The Diageo lawsuit with Diddy was settled and all that. Check that out. There's a woman who is a part of this cohort with my wife who just jumped into a Rolls Royce wine. So that's why I'm like, look, I don't care what I got to do to show. You get your butt here, because you around women driving Rolls Royces. Okay. Look into those lawsuits. Those are very interesting. Diageo or 50 Cent and Suntory. Dean Suntory. Look it up. They being quiet. Vicky went to Congress yesterday. He hired Ed Crump as his attorney. And using this platform, call these things out. I think it's dope. I think it's, like I said, an application of this street know-how and responsible experience to not allow anybody to harm them, not go out without them. That's I like it. May God bless you. It's gonna be now. These boys they not no punks either. They got deep pockets, very high paid attorneys, I'm sure. A lot of influence in government and in the industry. It's gonna be a slugfest. But 50's up for it. Up for, I just say, all the smoke. So I'm gonna check that out. But look, family, they finishing up. I'm gonna finish up here. I appreciate all those who were able to hang in with me. I know it's a different thing, different vibe. It's me. I'm gonna be myself, and hopefully the information I share with you, was at least of some stuff added some value. But trust me, if nothing else, come to this show, go watch those interviews, and really get your information. Learn how to perform. Really, I think it's an example of what all of us as entrepreneurs and as people who are looking to, as they say, break or take generation of curses, or as the sister I heard from a place in Brooklyn, start a generation of blessings. So, all right, cheers. So let me go. All right, y'all. Next week, talk to you later, family. Peace. As I figure out how to get this thing going here.
Sober Sophistication, the podcast. Sober Sophistication, winning in a new way. It's alcohol free, with sober meets classy. Live your best life and sip with us. Sophistication is a must. We're winning in a new way, with sober meets classy. Sober Sophistication.
Sober Sophistication. I told you I wasn't gonna sing it. I
Sober
lied.
Sophistication, the podcast.